Good Sunday morning, Heat Nation, folks, folkettes, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of Mahapneys, the only host in the history of the internet, as far as I'm concerned, who fully and wholeheartedly admits that he has no idea what he's talking about, but he can read. And I tell you what, I wanted to just start the video with a couple of things that I wanted to incorporate. I'm going to explain a little bit more about it on the next, my worthless half a pennies, in which I'll talk about the origins of the name Mahapneys, why we do what we do, as well as honor a great person. So I hope that we can include all that in the next, my worthless of a penny. But for the moment, I wanted to, again, I'm not even apologizing. I tell you guys from the beginning, if anyone is watching, is because they either like my voice or because, I don't know, they're my friends or family. Hi, Mom, or something of the sorts. But the main issue is that I make some crucial mistakes. Thankfully, I realized them. I realized them before Raf, by the way. Raf doesn't even have the patience to watch my videos. It just kind of skips over, just trying to edit as much as possible. But I kept mentioning in the last video when I explained the NBA Cup that the Cavs and the Celtics are in our group as opposed to our conference. And I kept mentioning it, and I kept mentioning it, and I kept mentioning it. No, we have to... Two teams that we are yet to play, the Bucks, the leaders of the group right now with 2-0, 2-0, and the Raptors. So we are right now 1-1, right? We won against the Pacers and lost against Detroit. I think that the Pacers are 0-2, if I'm not mistaken. I think Detroit is 1-1 as well. I don't know about the Raptors, but regardless, this is our position in the cup that's not happening right now. It's going to happen on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, against the Bucks. So we have a break right now, and then we have a Bucks and Hornets back to back. So this is going to be my penny quickies. Heat at 6-7 versus Mavericks at 9-7. Can the Heat beat the Mavericks? And my question is, yes, the Heat can beat anyone except the Nuggets on any given night. There are other teams that come into mind, but we just broke one of those taboos this year, which was against the Timberwolves, right? Well, we did not win against the Mavericks in the last season, and we have lost the last 3 matches against Mavericks. So the Mavericks want to get this fourth on their book, that's for sure. Now, out for the Miami Heat. Drew Smith with a bruised knee is ruled out. Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier. Jimmy Butler because of an illness, Terry Rozier because of his foot ailment, whatever it was. They are marked as questionable. And the good surprise, in my opinion, because of the way that the injury looked, or the slip looked, or the way that it happened, right? Jaime Jaquez is going to be available to play tonight. And I'm going to do my penny picks later today, I hope, if I'm able to. But not for now. It's homework, guys. It's a lot of numbers that I have to put on the screen to just basically say what I think is going to be over or under. For the 76ers, for the Mavericks, Luka Doncic is out. And he's going to be reevaluated next week. We'll see. And Daniel Gafford, because of a left shoulder soreness, is questionable. I have no idea whether or not he's going to play. But I'll tell you this. This is our situation in terms of rankings and stats, okay? The Miami Heat ranks 19th offensively, meaning we haven't moved anything from Game 10 to Game 13, right? With an average of 110.9 points per game and 110.1 points scored per 100 possessions. The Mavericks are 9th, 10 placements above us, with 116.4 points per game and 114.8 points scored per 100 possessions. They are 7th in opponents' allowed points per game at 109.9 overall, whereas the Heat are 8th, right underneath the Mavericks at 110.1. So defensively, this should be an interesting matchup if the Heat brings its defensive game, which even without Drew Smith, right? Oh my God, we're gonna miss on Drew Smith being in the game and having the opportunity to get some of those minutes. But yeah, Burks, right? Anyway, Dallas pace is 19th in the league, so it's not a great pace. But the problem is, Miami Heat's pace is 24th, and this is all for the preaching that Miami Heat was going to bring a faster pace to the league. In the last 4 games, the Heat, however, has an offensive rating of 114.9, which is up 3 from the general average in terms of what points are, right? Up 4, sorry, for the general average, and actually puts us, I think, in the top 10 offense in, I think, about 7th or 8th place, something like that, and a defensive rating of 107.4 versus 111.5. So our defensive rating and offensive rating have increased significantly, have improved significantly in the past 4 games, which coincided with this complete change in lineup because of Jimmy Butler being out, and then now this perfect transition out of Rozier from the starting lineup. And so we're looking better. Certainly, Dallas comes with an offensive rating of 125.3, however, in the last 4 games. But their defensive rating is a little bit worse than ours at 109.6. So Miami lost both confrontations again last season. We lost the one before that, so we are 0-3 in the past 3 confrontations against the Mavericks. And right now, in terms of plus and minus, the Heat are a plus 0.8, while the Mavericks have a plus robust 6.1. What are pennyful hopes? I'm never going to say that a player being out is something hopeful, because I don't want players being out. If we are to face the Mavericks and lose against the Mavericks, I'd rather Butler not being in and Luka being in than Butler being in and Luka not being in. And we don't know whether Butler is going to play or not. Now, this is a game that Luka is out, and possibly also Butler. And as much as we hope Butler does play, this is not what should give us the edge. Meaning, Luka's absence is not something that gives us objective hope either, right? The fact that we had one solid game, however, with a new rotation that we do hope eased Rozier off of the starting lineup. And that rotation worked well, played well, both offensively and offensively. It gives me hope that this starting lineup, mainly without Rozier, but including Highsmith, along with Duncan, and I would say Duncan over a lot of other people, but for now, Duncan, Hero, Butler, and Bam. It gives me hope that we can produce better against any team. So obviously, this is going to be a great test. There is zero doubt which team is doing better, but at least in the past 4 games, we've shown that we can also do considerably better. About 10 position. Look, we're going to talk about it soon enough, okay? But, okay, a good solid plan, players executing it well, and a good defense can do what they can do. Because what's concerning about them, right? Again, right? To continue the trend for us from the past 4 games is very, very important. To understand that Burks on court is always a positive. Burks and Rozier together on court are a positive. So, to understand that, okay, now we don't have Drew Smith, that's fine. I know that there is Pelle Larsson. I know that there is, where the people want to. Now I think, again, right, it all depends on the situation. It all depends on the matchup. I would definitely capitalize on where more. And for those that are saying, oh, we should have gotten Connect. Well, Connect yesterday only had 9 points. So, I'm not sure that we should have or not, but this is, again, the same story of Precious and then missing on Maxey, and then, which I know I'm kind of right now just all over the place, but that's not the point. The point is that I do want to see Ware play. Of course I do. Of course I do want to see Ware play. But right now it just seems that there aren't many minutes for him to play. I'm not sure about Larsson. We'll see. There are certain lineups that are always weird, especially in these first games. It kind of starts getting a lot more solid toward January, right? That's unfortunately what we see. So what are penniless concerns? Obviously, the main concern is Kyrie Irving, I guess, but he's not even the main scorer, but he was the main facilitator in their win without Luka against the Nuggets, right? The main scorer was PJ Washington with 22. Kyrie had 19. Kyrie is averaging about the same as Hero this season, which is amazing for his age. They have a great team. They have a solid team. They have great perimeter defending and a good perimeter shooting. We definitely need to be on our toes. We definitely need to be able to use the fast pace of a game that's supposed to be fast paced in our favor. So I predict the actually high scorage. Raf said that he saw it, that he envisioned that we're going to win this game by 34 points. My prediction is obviously it's going to be a very competitive game, but I think that high scoring competitive game, meaning I don't think this is going to be a Timberwolves kind of competitive game. This is going to be a high scoring competitive game because of the pace and because both teams have been doing pretty well offensively lately. Dallas has been doing pretty well offensively. So for the Heat to have a chance, they have to score more. So our offense needs to work. And I think it's a perfect chance to show that it can. But it's also the perfect game to win. Because first of all, again, we win against a team with a winning record, which happened against the Timberwolves. So we want to repeat this. 76ers right now didn't count. Right now they didn't count. Because they had a record of 210 and then 211 after losing to us. So that didn't count as much as it does. Even though Bam, completely canceled Embiid, right now it's going to be an interesting matchup, an interesting situation to see. We hope Bam is engaged offensively. So again, right, for this to be a high scoring that involves us being in the high scoring mix and not losing and not being blown out, we need our people to function well, our offense to function well. We need not only Hero and Butler, but Hero, Butler, Bam, and if Rozier comes off the bench, Rozier as well, Duncan Robinson, Hawkins, whoever can contribute offensively, contribute a lot and be effective. As far as how I feel how I feel the team's direction is, I can say this: we don't have a full team in many ways. We have great depth at the guard position and the wings. I think that even when it comes to size, we're not even that small, right? Considering that we can play Jovic, we can play Love, we can play Bam, we can at least play two of those together. And then we also have Ware, and we also have Brian that hasn't been playing. So it's not even an issue of size. We don't have a good point guard, and the consensus amongst myself, Raf, and my friends is that we need a decent 3-and-D kind of guy. But the truth is that at this moment, what we see in the Miami Heat is the same trend as last season, which is a consistency. Did the game against the 76ers give me more hope in terms of the unit? Yes, because of how we won. It's not just that we won, it's how we won the game. It's how easily we won the game after being down 19 by one possession. So that did give me hope. Not that we won, but how we won it. And the same thing I say about the Mavericks. I think that this needs to be a competitive game. Unfortunately, because we are still one game under that elusive 500 that we've been a couple times, I think, this season. But we've also been under 2 games, kind of on average, right? So obviously we need to win. If we weren't in this situation, I wouldn't say this is a must-win game. But it's also not a scheduled loss, right? I mean, the only scheduled loss for me really is the Nuggets. If we're going to talk about this season and past season situations, then we're going to say, okay, the Cavs could be for this because of this season, and Celtics because they beat us. They swept us in the regular season last season. But neither or, right? Neither or. I think that the only scheduled loss really is against the Nuggets. So that's all I can say. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.